And NDIS too, we talk about leadership rivals. Bill Shorten's there, he's in the cabinet, he keeps NDIS. Minister for Government Services, which is basically putting you in the cupboard. There's nothing there in terms of sexy media content or stakeholder engagement. That's the government talking to the government. Is that also a concern that like Plibersek, that he's got two aspirants there, or has Bill Shorten put away his baton, as they say?
I reckon Bill Shorten would expect what he got because that's what he had as a shadow. I'm not saying that he might not cause Anthony Albanese difficulties down the track, but as I'm sitting here as a political analyst, Peter, and the bell's going off in my head in terms of warning signs for Anthony Albanese, if I'm putting myself in a strategist's shoes, it's more around the Plibersek appointment. And, Tanya Plibersek's very popular. I think the Australian people would like to see her in a high-profile role. So you don't want to look petty in appearing to demote her.
The other point I'm just going to make before we go into some other things, resources is on its lonesome under Madeleine King with Northern Australia. Energy is with climate change. The point I made before about water being split away from agriculture, water's with the environment. Again, that's a signal from the left to their constituency. But climate change with energy is also a symbol to the constituency. Precisely what Malcolm Turnbull did, if you remember, Josh Frydenberg had that sort of portfolio at one stage, and they ended up being so incompatible that they had to go back to standalone portfolios, but they're going to try that there with Chris Bowen.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Angus Taylor might have had both in the last cabinet, and so I guess they're keeping that moving. They shadowed him, and they're adopting the same kind of model. But yeah, I've always found it interesting. It's it's split from environment, etc. That energy goes together with climate change. I guess you'd expect that from the Labor government. Their signature policy, apart from putting the poles and wires up, it seems, is that climate target, 43% by 2030.
All right, just before we go, we got to 76 today for Labor. That means majority government. Highly likely they'll actually get to 77. But still a lot of talk, Andrew Clennell, about an independent speaker.
So my mail on this is if it is 76, there will be an independent speaker, Peter, but I think he's going to get lucky yet again, Anthony Albanese, and win Gilmore by like 100 votes or 200 votes, have 77, in which case the factional support is apparently behind Milton Dick, the Queenslander, and he'll have his own speaker. But it really rested on that number, and he's had some good news on that front today. I think even Andrew Constance thinks it's hard to win Gilmore from here. I think it's arguable that Andrew Constance got himself a 5% swing in that seat, because if you look at the rest of New South Wales and Australia, it certainly didn't go the way that Constance brought it, but it looks like he's just fallen short. And despite the loss of Fowler, Albanese gets that clear majority and his own speaker, I think, Peter.
All right, lots to digest. I know you're going to run off and pick up the phone and call a few people. Andrew Clennell, I appreciate your time tonight. Right, the other thing, of course, with this announcement, you just get a press release tonight. What I'm always interested in having a look at are the administrative orders that sit behind these names and portfolios, particular agencies and offices inside portfolios, where they end up, what's been kept, what's been scrapped, and of course, very importantly, who are the chief bureaucrats, who are the secretaries of the departments that Labor will choose to run them.